But after that, it's funny because I was living with my sister and they were kind of like, okay, Chris, it's been a year. You're going to try to get a job, do something. I said, trust me, as soon as I pass this exam, I'm gone. And when I got all four done, literally like 2 weeks later, I was gone and I was living on my own and had my career going and everything ever since then.
Taking off. Okay. Did you use a popular review course or your
I use
study
Excel.
strategy?
I use CPA Excel. Are you familiar with that?
No, I've seen it listed as one of the options, but I don't think anybody on the channel has ever said that was the one preferred or used.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
exam.
I use CPA Excel. They're good course though. They're a good course. All these review courses are good. It's not about the course. It's about what you're gonna do with the material, right? Like Becker is the most known one because they have all of these. They have a lot of. They're known. They've been around for a while. They have a strong presence when it comes to CPA study material. But there's a few other ones out there, and they all have to cover the same information. So it's really more about which one, what are you going to do with that information? Becker is good because they have live classes and they have online courses, but CPA Excel has the same thing. So I think they might have their different ways of delivering the study material. So I know Becker is good. I heard a lot of people are successful with Becker, but I didn't use them. I use CPA Excel because I got their material for free. Being a representative on my campus, I was a student representative, so all I had to do was promote their products to all the accounting majors. And if
Oh,
I was their designated representative, they sent me every single book and DVD and gave me online access, so I had free course material.
okay. I was about to
I was
ask
serious.
you.
I was serious. You got to be serious trying to accomplish this. You got to find any way of opportunity you can to get to the end goal. So yeah,
I was about to ask you, did you find that to be a sacrifice in the out of pocket expense? But you just answered that question. But so I'll follow up and say, how did you even know that was an option? Being a student representative, who even turned you on to that
it was
option or
it was
opportunity?
NABA. It was NABA, and
Okay,
okay. I'm gonna say this. It wasn't necessarily NABA. I'm gonna say this.
the National
In
Association of
life,
Black Accountants.
yeah, National Association of Black Accountants. In life, if you want something, you gotta own it. You gotta own that you want it. And it was something that being a CPA was something I wanted, but I didn't have money in college like that. I was working a job, but I didn't want to spend like it was like I guess like $1,000 just to get the course at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I got to figure out either how to pay for the study material or, you know, or that was my goal was to pay. But what I did was I went to the NABA student conference and I had been a few times. And this particular time, it was like I was a senior. I was getting ready to graduate. I was hoping that I could get to NABA student conference and get an interview and, get an internship at that point. I just wanted to get my foot in the door. And what happened was I was sitting in my hotel room while I was in Atlanta, and NABA they'll give you all this paper about people who are there, advertisements, things like that. And I came across this paper for CPA Excel, and it said, "Do you want to be a representative for CPA Excel?" And I thought, well, I'm at a small school. There's only one study material representative at my school, and it was for Becker, and that was it. And I know that person, whoever they decided, would get free study material. So I said, well, let me bring in CPA Excel to my school. And I just put up the flyers. I speak to the students about their product. And if I did that, if I talked to them and told them I would do that, let me see if they would give me the material to do. So I emailed them and they were like, yeah, Chris, we're happy to do that. So, here goes all the material. Here goes all the things you need to promote. And we'll send you your books and we'll get you your online access. And boom, like that, I got it all for free.
See, that shows you just have to be intentional
Yep.
and laser focus, and things will fall into place. You were
Yep.
flipping through all those papers and information you normally get when you go to a conference or that goodie bag, and look what he found, or how that led to being a student representative and getting the review course for free.
Yeah.
All right, things will align if you are disciplined and intentional. Those two common themes I keep hearing from different people: that discipline and just being intentional and focused, things fall into place. And
Yep.
that great opportunity to save some money, because I know that has been a sacrifice or an issue that may keep some of us from passing the exam, let alone
Yep.
becoming a CPA, just because they can't afford the materials.
Yeah. It's an investment. It's an investment in your future. not only just money but time, and but it's worth it. That's the whole point, right? For those of us who have gone through it, we're saying that yeah, it's a big ask, but if you get through it and you come on the other side, it's going to be worth it. And it's not one of those temporary type of successes. You become a CPA, it's something you carry with you for the rest of your life, as long as you choose to maintain your active status. And there's so many with the journey. There's so many nuances to how it changes you and your life and the things you've got to do in order to even accomplish the goal. That's why it's so worth it.
Gotcha. So I know your area of expertise and where you specialize is IT, information technology, and just the data around accounting. Do you want to talk about now where that has led you, since you've already accomplished the peak of working at a Big Four? So what are you doing now? And ultimately, how you would like to use your CPA credentials?
Yeah. So right now I have my own business as a CPA, my own CPA practice, okay. But I don't do traditional, thank you. I don't do traditional tax work, bookkeeping, or anything like that. Although I can, that's not what my focus is. My focus is data protection. So I help companies protect your information, right? Companies get information from us because they're offering services to us, and some of that information is sensitive stuff that we don't want people to have access to. So people are familiar with data breaches and things like that. I help companies with understanding how to protect that data and understanding the different internal controls, right? So if you study for the exam or just paid attention in college, you understand what internal controls are. So I'm really an internal controls process type person with a focus on information technology and information security. So it's just, it's really about and risk management. So, I go to companies and say, hey, what could go wrong, right? And they say, well, these things can go wrong. Okay, what are we doing and what do we need to do in order to reduce the risk of them actually going wrong and you being exposed? And in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Okay, well, that's interesting. And would you say now that you've kind of carved out your own path and niche, with that, is it rewarding regarding salary wise? Because I know most people want to know, where can I make this money? Is it truly rewarding?
Absolutely. Yeah, like it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding, especially if you are one of the chosen ones who decide to go down the path that I go down. I went down because it's very niched, and not a lot of people are doing that with their tradition, with their CPA. With their CPA license and their accounting license, right? So, sorry guys, I'm by the pool, so you probably see people in the background like jumping in the pool.
Yeah, probably jealous, so don't apologize. I want to be where Christopher is right now.
Because I was trying to use some shared space, but then there was a lot of people in there, and then I was like, all right, let me just go by the pool. And now that noon is coming around, it's getting busy out here. But yeah. What was I saying? It's very lucrative, and that's the whole point. And that's why I have CPA diversity, because I want to share my experience and show how you can earn money becoming an accountant. And that's the thing that attracts a lot of young folk, right? They're trying to find the way that they can.
Where the bag at? Where that money?
Where the bag at? Where the money at? And there's a lot of ways in 2021 to get to the money. True. I think the thing is that we're trying to say is, becoming an accountant is very lucrative. It's very lucrative, yet for some reason, our people, or people, the numbers of diverse ethnicities that are in the profession aren't really aren't really being attracted as much. Now there's some change. I feel like there's some change coming, right? Like I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and I'll see a lot of young, diverse students and professionals saying, I passed the exam, I passed the exam, I passed the exam. So I see it coming. And we've got all the different organizations that are focused on it now, like NAVA, like the National Society of Certified Black Public Accountants, like yourself, like me. Like, I think we're all trying to do our part to bring more awareness and inspire more people to do it. But yes, am I saying that you're going to be a millionaire? Well, truth is, if you become a CPA, you're more likely to become a millionaire than most people. Because I read the statistic in college that says if you're an accountant, you're gonna, if you graduate with an accounting degree, you'll get a certain amount of money, but people who become CPAs are guaranteed to become millionaires. So that was like also very motivating to study.
That's where I'm headed. Okay, let me stay on track.
And I would say, without giving too much information, I looked at some of the numbers of my earnings over my career, and I'm definitely on track. So,
okay. I'm glad you
it's
said that because I wanted to ask, did you think it was in line or above industry standards? So go ahead and keep talking.
the whole point of this is the whole point of you doing this channel and me doing my channel, CPA Diversity. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. Is that we understand that there is so much opportunity. You know, that's why I always say, if you're an African American, Hispanic, or one of these underrepresented diverse ethnicities, and you're in school and you're majoring in business, I challenge you to go switch to accounting right now and become a CPA, because you're not going to regret it. You know, that's just my opinion, and it hasn't led me wrong so far.
I think you're right. So, but what do we need to do currently as CPAs, Black CPAs, to encourage those who are probably in high school getting ready to go into college, or those who are in college still trying to figure out exactly what do I want to do with my business major? How do we want to encourage them to go the accounting route and then a step further study for the CPA exam?
We're doing it right now. We're doing it. We're all trying to find a way to bring education. Okay. And we're doing that all in our own ways. But I think that's one thing, right? Then I don't know if you talk to people about it, but you got the pipeline, right? We got to work on this pipeline from high school to CPA, you know, and all the things that happen in between that could deter someone from wanting to become a CPA. Because like you said, we've got the cost of the study material. We've got the challenges of studying and passing the exam. You've got a lot of people who want to do it, but they don't have the money the money or the means to be able to go and get those extra credits and masters after they've already done their undergrad. Because typically when you graduate, right, and then you finish college, now it's like, oh, I got to earn money for myself. Sure. And also, I was a little different. I stayed in undergrad for an extra year and got the additional credits I needed, mostly to be able to at least sit for the exam. A lot of people graduate but still don't have enough credits to sit for the exam. So they have to go to masters. They have to go get their masters to sit for the exam. So that adds an extra step, and you got to pay for that. And so there's a lot of different things. And then people trying to work and study at the same time, that can be challenges. The whole process can have its obstacles. What we as a group have to do is a few things, is do things to help people along that way. I think that's the biggest thing. And the AICPA is the AICPA and the CAQ. I did interviews with both of them on my channel, and they are working on that pipeline. Like, they're at the forefront of that. They're working with the big firms and all the big firms and medium firms and small firms to understand how they can help with bringing more diversity into the profession and working on that pipeline to get people, you know, through it and successful. So I think overall it's going to be a collective effort, but as long as we all individually decide to do things like you know, continuing with these interviews, posting them on your channel, and giving people more insight into what it is and what realistically, how do you actually do this, is going to be what it takes. And, you know, time. In enough time, we'll start to see the numbers change.
Right. Spotlighting what you're doing. It's not necessarily number crunching, which is why I definitely wanted to have you on the channel to say, look what direction you can go in with accounting. Just so many things. You can't even name them all at this point.
Yep, absolutely.
That is so wonderful. All righty. We're almost about to wrap up, but you mentioned a couple of professors from undergrad. Was that your first time meeting a Black CPA, and would you consider either one of them a mentor to this day, and how important that has been?
Well, I would actually say, so there was a teacher that I said was inspirational. She was an CPA, had her own business. She was Black. But she wasn't really like a mentor. She was a teacher, and she would give me advice, but the extent of our relationship, it lessened after I kind of moved out of her class. The guy who told me to pass the CPA exam, who told me no every question, who I kept a relationship with, was a white man. He was white, and he was teaching at a black school, and he understood how underrepresented it was. So his whole, I think part of his how he could show value at the school was to say, if I could get more people to pass the CPA exam, then I'm doing a good job. So yeah, he was like my only mentor per se, but even then, it wasn't like he just held me under his wing. He was more like, okay, yeah, like I know you're gonna do it. Just go ahead and do it and keep me updated on what's going on. So yeah, but other than that, no, not really. I didn't really have too many mentors in accounting. It was really me just figuring things out on my own.
Then discipline yourself, self-starter.
Yeah.
Well, I want to touch on back at EY, if you don't mind, or just, I know you mentioned PwC, maybe some of your experience, or maybe colleagues you met while working there. And in the accounting world, we seem to think that landing a position at one of those firms is the pinnacle, like you've reached a peak, but that's where you started, you've since left. During your time there, did you see many Black people? Were we given opportunities? And what somewhat led to you exiting so early in your accounting career?
So did I see Black people? Yes, there's more diversity in those big firms and Big Four than there is anywhere else. But if you look in the room, we're still not there. There's not a lot of us. Most of the time, I'm the only one in the room, right? And then I ended up leaving for different reasons, but I wanted to try new things. I wanted to try some different things. So I ended up leaving EY and going to a smaller firm, and it was even less of us, right? I was the only one in the building, not just the room, right? So, but Big Four is good.
That's real.
That's real. It's real.
Was opportunities there.
Yeah, exactly. There is, and Big Four is good. There's no experience like the Big Four experience because of how huge they are and the clients that they have and the experience and opportunities they can give you. But there's still a lot of opportunities in regional firms and mid-sized firms and even some small firms. What you got to do is figure out what makes sense for you, and when it doesn't make sense anymore, don't be afraid to change. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Can you speak on that? Were you married at that point? Had life taken over and you would just have obligations, children? Because that can be hard right there. You're talking about don't be afraid to step out. But when you got bills or mouths to feed, or you may just be comfortable in your position. You don't want to go prove yourself somewhere else.
Yeah. I did an interview with a lady named Jessica McLean, and when we were talking, she said, I'm never comfortable. I never get comfortable. And I thought that was perfect, right? Because that's the truth. It's so easy to be comfortable in cruise and just say, okay, this is what I'm doing, working. Oh, here's something I see over here, and it looked like a good opportunity, but I just don't know what's going to happen if I go. It could go wrong. I'm telling you to take the chance. You take the chance because you want to open yourself up to different opportunities and experiences. And if it doesn't go right, then change again until you get what you want, and that's really what happened.
Right. Take a risk. Sound like take a risk, huh?
A calculated risk.
Okay. Back to that accounting, right? Cost benefit analysis.
Don't just blindly do stuff, right? Because I've done a few of that in my life too. But you want to, if it makes sense and you see a way, sometimes it's worth going for the opportunity, and that's what's led me to the success that I have today, and I'm grateful for that skill. So.
Right. Okay. Well, a couple of more questions. In studying or going this route, was there anything now you look back on wish you had known, or any advice you would like to share with anybody watching this video?
There is. I'm gonna give that advice, and then I'm gonna say let's wrap up because my computer might shut off, and then that'll be the end of the interview, and I don't want it to look like that.
Well, we have one more question after this one.
Okay,
what does CPA mean to you? What does it mean having it behind your name? So you might be able to combine both of them. What does it mean to have a CPA?
The first question was if there was any advice that I had. I'll give you one piece of advice that I had that I learned in my career, which was focus on your development of yourself. Your own self. Always strive to get better. Like we said about that comfort zone. It's easy to get to pass and and to get inside and say, okay, I finally did it, and then start cruising. I did that for a while, but when you are working as a CPA, you always got to be on top of things, you know, because you're serving people and they expect you to be the expert. So you always got to be working on yourself. You always got to be reading. You always got to be studying. You always got to be knowing how to improve yourself, not only as a profession, but as a professional, but personally too, right? Because that personal aspect, if you don't have that together, then nothing's going to work. So always be working on yourself is what I would say is the biggest thing that I learned in my journey. And then what does being a CPA mean to me? It means making history. It means being able to serve people in the best way possible because I've taken the time to understand how to bring value. And I can learn, you know, I might not know everything as a CPA, and there's a lot of things I still don't know. I don't remember from the CPA exam. But what I do know is how to find information. And that's the one thing that I think studying and passing the CPA exam did help me understand is how to go out and find information, process that information, use that information, and turn it into value for other people. So there's a lot of opportunity, not only just for other people that you serve, but also for you, your future family, your current family, and everybody that will benefit from you becoming a CPA. So I encourage everybody who's serious about becoming a CPA to take the exam seriously, figure out your own path, motivate yourself, follow Jacqueline, follow CPA Diversity, and make it happen.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I hope we have enough time to get this little last final remarks in. But again, thank you for accepting the invitation. It was great to learn about how you can use data, risk management, and IT world in accounting. So thank you for sharing it. That has been interesting. And also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share, and leave a comment. And again, remember who you are and whose you are, and there's no time like the present. And I'll see you next time.